Welcome to Buffalo, New York for game day 2, match number 4 of the 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey Championships, the World Championships. As you see the buzz aplenty outside, and looking inside now at the Harbor Center, the United States of America, the hosts here in Buffalo, are 1-0 at the moment. The Germans, who they'll be taking on today, 0-1, and the Germans suffering that defeat at the hands of the Italians, the other team in this group. You're looking at the Sabres fans, the United States fans, a good crowd inside as you see the Germans now skating around in black. And the Germans, a long road to get back to this Pool A World Championships. That is Group B as we look at them. They're currently at the bottom of the group, 0-1. The Americans with an impressive start in game day 1 against the Russians, 6-1 victors. As you look at one of the leaders for them, their captain, an outstanding game, Josh Sweeney, 2 goals as he's over there with the officials already. But the Americans are favored to win back that World Championship crown. It currently sits with their northerly neighbors, the Canadians, who took it in 2013 and with a 1-0 victory over them. My name is Brent Pope, and I'll be enjoying the action here with you again today. And alongside me is a USA Paralympian gold medalist, World Championship medal winner as well. And it is Taylor Lipset, formerly of the U.S. men's ice sledge hockey team, who's been joining me all week as we look at the action here today. And the Americans heavily favored here over a German side that really needs to make sure they get something from this match, and whether that's just a strong performance against the home side to make sure that they're really fighting to keep in this Pool A that they've taken so long a road to get back to.
Yeah, the Germans are definitely going to have their hands full here today with the Americans. We see the starters here: Tyler Caron on D with Nico Landros, an amazing defenseman who's very offensive, and then Dan McCoy, Chris Douglas, and Josh Mesowich for the forwards in the starting lineup here, and Steve Cash, the backbone of the USA in net. And then we have Coach Sauer here in his 3rd season as coach for the United States of America, coming off the gold medal from Sochi last year at the Paralympic Winter Games. And now here's the German starters.
And Stupe on defense again. Renhack, the captain. Simon Kuntz will be in goal. Felix Schrader as well. Some good opportunities in the opening match for these Germans against the Italians as we look in at Andreas Pokorny, the head coach for this German side. And they know that they will be in tough against this American side, who is a world champion already, Steve Cash, who is off and running again with some great work for this American side. As you say, he's been an anchor for the best part of a decade and giving them another opportunity to really compete for this World Championship return of the title to this American team. Simon Kuntz was good as well in game day 1. He is going to see a lot more activity in this one.
Yeah, the Americans are going to put a lot of pressure on the Germans. The speed of Team USA is just unparalleled, probably from any team in the tournament. And they're going to have their hands full, but the Germans, they can do a lot of things good here today. Focus on, puck possession. Again, just getting back to the A-Pool, a great accomplishment for them, and they're really excited to be here and see what they can give the Americans a run for their money.
The most lopsided scoreline we've seen so far at these World Championships is a win Canada over Japan of 17-0. I don't know if we're going to see that, but I expect that the Americans will come out strong and they'll really want to impress here as we are seconds away. And the puck is dropped and we are underway. Misevic, the center iceman, taking that draw for the Americans. They'll win it back. Landeros, as you mentioned, his speed, mobility, and his presence on the puck. He is all over the place. Immediately, this is the forecheck from the Americans in. Christopher Douglas is in on the attack. He is new here to the lineup, and it will be played down by the Germans, and across the goal line it goes for icing. So 2 players new into the lineup in the second day for the American squad, Chris Douglas being one of them, and equally Sam Mumper on defense, the pride of Dublin, Ohio.
Both guys in their rookie season for Team USA. They played a lot of games this year, getting valuable experience here in their first World Championships.
Face off to the left of Kuntz, and it's going to be Misevic who wins it. Going immediately to the net in front is Dan McCoy. They're trying to get back, and quickly taken by Sven Stumpe around. The Germans are getting hemmed in right now, a little bit uncertain as to how they want to get out of their defensive zone. The Americans will play it with some good structure from the Germans, that they've been able to hold this American attack to the outside as they just try to find their feet and find their speed here, getting their bearings in this match, as the Americans will just move from side to side.
Both teams just filling each other out right now. The Americans keeping everything to the outside, not forcing anything in the middle, but the Germans doing a good job of clogging up the middle of the ice there, not letting the pass get through.
Landeros, it went right across to Daniel McCoy, number 14 on the backside. He couldn't quite handle the hot pass as he would have liked to have. And some good work there as you're looking at Misevic, who will make his way off. He was the starting centerman. And the Germans, as you say, just doing enough to get in the way. We're just a minute and 12 gone inside this first period. And the Americans have been strong throughout. And so important, those face-offs, to get possession every time there's a restart of play.
A lot of advantages come from winning the face-off and drawing it back, especially in the game of ice sledge hockey. It just takes so much time for the opponent to get out to the point. It really, if you take control of the face-off, it gives you a chance to get a quality scoring opportunity.
And it's all about really controlling the terms and playing the game you want to play, and that's a great move by Josh Pauls. He really is special to watch in this American defense. He's able to make the pass, but it isn't able to be received, as Kevin McKee was just maybe past the receiving point comfortably. It'll be played in around. There's a delayed offside coming against the Germans. Haven't all left the zone. If they touch it, it'll be immediately blown. And in fact, the referee deciding to blow it dead. Face-off will be just outside of the American line and focus immediately on that puck. And you've seen it a little bit here throughout the days. We look at Jeff Sauer. Sometimes immediately the players focusing on so much concentrating, just taking in what's going on around them as well.
The German forward there just trying to do his best to put some pressure on the Americans and keep them hemmed in their zone a little bit. Didn't realize they were offsides, but you got to appreciate the effort.
The face-off is won comfortably by the Americans. Goes right back in on Steve Cash. He is very cool indeed as he just tips it to the side. Allows this U.S. squad to get itself regrouped. They are just pushed back though momentarily, as it was Renhack who just gets a stick in there. They're just almost in a little bit of a retreated position, the Germans, but look at Josh Pauls. His speed is unbelievable. Look at his lane down the left-hand side, and oh, how does he not score? As good an opportunity as the Americans will have. They made it for themselves. Josh Pauls, tremendous work, and that was Roybal who just avoided the big hit and the collision to the Germans there, but some great speed, as you mentioned.
The German defender might have just gotten a body on Josh Pauls just in time to knock him a little bit off balance and prevent him from getting everything on that shot that he wanted.
They'll be back. They'll try to recover it now, and they'll come again as they come in waves. That was Mumper, number 9, touching the puck for the first time in these World Championships. Again, USA across the shot, and it's a hot one coming in low and hard in on goal. They'll pick up the rebound here. Some good body contact from the Germans just to force their will to get that out of their defensive zone.
One of the more underused shots in this sport of sledge hockey is the shot on the ice. A lot of times you can get a goaltender to the screen, and we got a chance in front here from Paul Schaus.
And it just gets away from Schaus, and he was in a perfect position. He had enough daylight really to go and make it shine, and he just couldn't hold on to the puck. He'll get it, maybe a service return now. Some good work from the Germans, though, as they stack 2 defenders in the way of that intended pass. And this time, Joshua Sweeney, the captain, 2 goals in the opener against Russia. A 6-1 victory for the Americans, stepping in here. Potentially a shot, a collision picked up by the Germans. They've done well so far.
The Germans not conceding anything here. They're doing a good job of putting pressure on the United States here. U.S. still dominating most of the play here, but the Germans doing a good job of keeping everything under control.
Vede will just see that down. I don't think it's going to go up for icing. Back in time is Schaus. He sees that puck onto his stick before it crosses his own goal line. Still inside of 5 minutes of this first period, and some great opportunities for the Americans. Really a little bit unfortunate not to have capitalized already, and we saw that already in this tournament. The Russians, they expected to score on plays, weren't able to do so, and it's one of those delicate things that you almost don't really want to tempt fate and put so much pressure on the goal scorers. It's a lot more difficult than it looks.
One of the keys to the game for Jeff Sauer that I know he told his team before this matchup is to take advantage of their opportunities and to really capitalize on the mistakes that the Germans may make. And it looks like we're going to have a penalty here for goalie interference on Chris Douglas.
The Americans are going to take a penalty. The first power play of this game is going to be awarded to the Germans, and Douglas just really didn't have a route to travel to get away as he was looking to pursue the puck carrier behind his own goal, and he ends up going right into Kunst in net for the Germans. And as a result, he will be penalized for goaltender interference, and Douglas will sit down for 2 minutes or less for an interference penalty. And Germany with really a golden opportunity with 4:45 gone in his first period to maybe just generate some offense. To expect a goal against this American side, I think is quite ambitious, but get some possession in the offensive zone.
They definitely want to establish some flow in the offensive zone here and try to, like you said, possess the puck, maybe work it around a couple times, cycle it, and just not give any odd man rushes up for the Americans, who are very speedy on the penalty kill. They're equally as dangerous on the penalty kill as they are full strength. So we'll see if the Germans can get anything going here.
It's a fair point, isn't it? It almost gives the Americans a license to be a little bit more aggressive, because you have only the 4 skaters on the ice, and when you get possession, if you're confident enough to beat a man, you almost take it because you know that possession time is valuable seconds off the power play. We'll watch to see how the Americans decide to employ their penalty kill. The puck drop not happening to the satisfaction of the linesman, and they'll have to regroup, and a change as Schrader will now come in for the Germans. And still lining up Landeros for the Americans on this faceoff. He wins it comfortably, Landeros. It goes back to Declan Farmer. Declan Farmer up and over the top, and it's almost like a punt down the football field as he uses the height to clear it over the Germans and also the power, and he gets it right in on goal. And what a play to get a faceoff in the offensive zone with a penalty kill.
Great job putting the puck on the net there. The U.S. 3 for 3 thus far in the tournament on the penalty kill. And like you said, without having to worry about icing the puck, they can take some chances here and use their speed to their advantage, possibly.
Offensive zone face-off. The Americans trying to win it back. And it was Declan Farmer who was taking that draw. Remember, the Americans are killing a penalty here, and they will try and corral it, get it under control, and this is a chance. With more space out there, Farmer offloading to Roybal. Roybal, a great save. Kunst takes away the elevated shot, and Roybal had the short side peg.
Great save by Kunst there, just tracking the puck, watching it go all the way to his blocker and directing it to the corner there.
And Germany will just regroup here. Schrader down low, and they got to go get that puck back. Remember, they're on the power play, the Germans.
Yeah, I think they're a little disoriented here from the pressure of the United States, just trying to get used to the speed of the U.S. players right now and establish a flow here.
Red Hack now with control for Germany, long side. He's going to bank it off. This works well. Schrader in a race to get to it. He is cut off, though, by Tyler Caron. And immediately, Landeros. He is a man everywhere. And I haven't seen a player at these World Championships that is more capable of covering ice out there quicker than Landeros.
Fast, strong skater, not afraid to jump up in the play and take chances in the offensive zone. And his D partner, Tyler Caron, knows that about him and does a good job of always covering in case Nico does take that chance.
Roybal coming forward, Herring getting in the way. They do a great job to transition the Americans to go from a defensive position. Now they're trying to get forward again. Declan Farmer trying to get around the end. Oh, wow! And Declan Farmer makes it rain over the German goaltender, and Kunst is crushed with a shorthanded marker from center ice.
That's why the coach always says put the puck on the net. You never know what can happen, and with the accuracy that Declan Farmer has with both hands, one of the top shooters in the world, shoots the puck on net and catches Kunst off guard there.
My, oh my, watch it again. Declan Farmer getting ahead of steam up there. He gets to a position, and why not? Lock and load and fire. Boom. And he snipes it high in the top right corner. Watch it again.
Not many players can pick corners from center ice, but 17-year-old Declan Farmer is one of them.
And Declan Farmer powers it home for USA. They open the scoring in this one shorthanded. And we talked about maybe a little bit more of a risk they can take, and equally not having to worry about his position on the ice, although he was just over center ice. Wow, is that something? That was as good a shot as we've seen, and we've seen a few beauties so far in these World Championships.
One of the top goal scorers in the world, just going to work and doing what he does.
Germans now coming forward. See if they can't respond. If they got a little bit of a window here. Good pass in front. The offload, Germany right back. And Cash has to make the blocker save. And a great chance for the Germans to answer.
Great puck movement there by the Germans, using all three forwards to gain entry into the offensive zone and get a good quality shot on net. Steve Cash had to be on his game there and ship that puck to the corner.
Going to be an American power play. As soon as the Germans in black touched it, it looks like a boarding indication from the official, but just to get clarity on the goal, no assists on the play. Declan Farmer, a one-man scoring machine from the middle of the ice at 6:32, and that was shorthanded, and he will put it on the board for USA. Watch it again as Herring goes in, Page, and it looks like it's Lowenstein who is going to get the penalty for the Germans.
Looks like a teeing penalty on Lowenstein. Just as Page came around the back of the net, he came straight on and just caught him perpendicular, which is the definition of the teeing penalty in sledge hockey.
They'll battle for it, and we talked a little bit about the chance taken by Farmer on that type of shot. You have to show a little bit of moxie, obviously a little bit of confidence, but on the power play, they're so almost instructed to possess it, move it around. We might not see that sort of flamboyance in this opportunity, but here is Pauls. Look at him go, and it's just the opening of the Red Sea, and in that instance, the Black Sea of the German sweaters, as he almost just takes it in alone. They'll get a second chance, Landeros, and it goes off the helmet of the German player and in the corner. And I mentioned that might be a little bit of a steady build-up and cautious, but not at all. The Americans in the power play here are coming and firing from everywhere.
They're trying to send a message here. The Germans have done a good job thus far keeping the Americans in check other than that one goal. And I think the Americans are trying to send a message to say they're here to play and they're not going to let up.
Declan Farmer across Coots. He throws out the right arm and enough to block that passing lane that was just ever so open. The Americans trying to expose it. They got a minute 02 remaining in this power play, and Declan Farmer is on fire right now for the Americans.
Couple of chances for the U.S. early on in this power play. Farmer tries to get it across the crease to McKee, but again, Kunst in good position and cut the puck off and covered it.
Not to be underestimated, that save, because not only does he have to be ready to pounce on it, if Farmer's feeling confident again, maybe he goes short side, but Schaus will take control off this faceoff, feed it in. Josh Pauls waiting to find a lane. It actually goes off of the Sledge, and that was off of Sweeney. They're trying to use the advantage there, and that would have counted if it had gone off the Sledge, but it goes off the outside of the net. Here they come again. Another look at it. Oh, weaving in and out. And Coots denies the Americans, but finally they do score at the second ask. And Coots really, he's got to be a little frustrated that he couldn't keep it out. He did the best he could, but the Americans will find out who gets the final touch.
I think Coots feels like he had the puck covered up there, but obviously the referee saw that it was loose and the Americans crashing the net and poked in the rebound.
Well, watch this again. That is the exact gesture from Coots in the goal, talking about jarring away at it when he thought he had it covered. Sweeney at the moment is potentially the guy who gets it. But we'll watch this play as it builds up. And the slow, steady arrival. This is Adam Page, Buffalo's own. He's right in. He makes all the moves, and he thinks he's going to score there. He did everything but score, and he may get credit for it. And Adam Page, I think, was the last American to touch the puck. We'll watch it one more time. And I think this is Adam Page's goal, and good for him. The hometown boy done good.
Gets the first goal of the tournament for Adam Page there. Definitely built some confidence for him in his line. He had a nice assist last night to Josh Mesowicz, so that line on a 2-game point streak here.
At the moment, at 8:38 of this first period, the assist going to 28, and that will be Paul Schaus getting the assist right now. We've had a chance to see it a couple times, and now that we've seen it up close, I just think the momentum from the play, as we saw from Adam Page, creates that. And Page is also a member not only of this team when they win at the Paralympics the gold medal, but also the World Championships as well. And Buffalo's own has put the Americans 2-0 up in this first period.
Good start here for the Americans. A little slow right off the bat, but they're quickly establishing some flow here. A little bit different lines than we saw last night from the Americans, so perhaps the players just taking a few minutes to get used to the new line mates they're playing with, but so far so good for the Americans.
And almost anticlimactic how that goal goes in, because Page, some great stick handling to get to that position. And then the save that we think Kuntz makes, that's almost even better. And then it kind of goes across the line and it overshadows two sensational plays of two players really competing hard up against each other. And I think the clarity has been achieved, and we're waiting. And at the moment, they're saying that it's Josh Pauls who is getting credit for the goal. I think that's going to be clarified, though. But nonetheless, the Americans are coming back again. Landeros, who is working to try and get it out into front. And they'll get it, the Germans, into the neutral ice all the way down. It's just going to go to the side of Steve Cash in goal. We'll listen to the announcement here now.
Pauls from Page on the power play at 8:38.
It seems as though they do have it accurate that actually it was Page, but nonetheless, they will get it clarified as they review it again. The Americans will get a second goal, and that's the most important stat of this opening period, as they'll win this face-off now. A shot coming in off the outside of the goal, and the Germans off the glass will now just try and chase it down. They've got a long man. Vetta was a long ways out at the far blue line, still hitting and not necessarily looking the puck there. Lauenstein takes his man off of the play and needs to keep focused as much as he can on the puck. As Christopher Douglas is without his extra stick, just got the one to get himself around, and Landeros, which has calmed things down for the Americans. He feeds it off to Douglas. It's been loosely given away, and they're creating a little bit of trouble now. The Germans shot in, Cash right off the toe, and Germany with a little bit of control and possession, creating a problem right now for the Americans.
U.S. a little sloppy in their end right now. They've had a couple chances to get control of the puck and chip it out. Turned it over. They're losing their sticks a little bit here. But good job by the Germans creating pressure and battling in the American zone here.
Misevic will just get it out. Germany, though, will just fire it back in. They'll make some line changes, get themselves in better position as we march down inside of 5 minutes remaining. 9-2 the shot advantage for the Americans at the moment. This is Landeros. Is he going to shoot from there? Wide side across in front, and they are denied again. Kuntz, I don't know if he got to it or whether it was a defensive player who just prevented that pass to be completed. They'll work out into the neutral zone. Coming across, Schroeder is looking to play the body on Landeros, but Landeros does just the right thing and leaves it for one of his American teammates to come and tidy up, and they're strong enough to clear their lines. It'll go now down the length of the ice, and it will go for icing once it crosses the goal line here, but a resurging shift from the Germans here as we march down to the end of this.
Good response from the Germans here. After that second goal, they created some good pressure, and then again, good puck movement, getting that puck to the slot for a good shot on net by Vette there.
Cash makes a good save again. He's got his Sledge facing out towards the shooter, and it goes right off of the end there and up and deflecting to the left of his goal. And Germany with two defensemen lined up on the blue line, not trying to be overly aggressive offensively, just making sure they don't allow the Americans to transition quickly. And there you see the shots again, as you mentioned, heavily favoring the Americans as they have 2 goals on the board already. Landeros, and I'm not even sure if Landeros ever comes off the ice. Every time he's got that touch of the puck as we're waiting for a penalty, and it'll be Christopher Douglas getting on to the end of it here. And it's once it's touched there by Kuntz, the penalty against the Germans, and another American power play.
Got an interference call on number 3. The defenseman Desveld for the Germans.
And Andreas Borconi is looking on as Desveld is going to the penalty box. And right now, he knows exactly that this was going to be a game to manage for the German side as we watch the penalty, and it is Desveld. It just goes right into Cash. Just a little too tight, isn't he?
Yeah, carelessly right into the goaltender. Not really any reason to bump the goalie there. You should have taken an outside-in route to force the defender from behind the net, but you definitely can't go through the net to get to him.
It's one of those plays you almost, obviously the goaltender is sacred in the sport of ice sledge hockey, like ice hockey. And if you're going to get a penalty, you almost want to do a little bit more than that, as he just kind of slices by Cash, but Cash wasn't even looking at him, as he was just, like you said, a little bit out of control coming in on that hard forecheck. The Germans will get regrouped here now. If they can get a big penalty kill, that would be a lot of momentum and a good positive building block for them to leave this first period with.
They had done a good job the past few minutes of getting some possession in the U.S. zone and putting good pressure on them. But this could be a momentum killer right here as they send the #1 power play unit for the U.S. back out.
And they are already 1 for 1 with the man advantage in this game. Pauls goes across to Landeros. They will anchor and quarterback this unit. Declan Farmer waiting to see what his best option is. He's got Roybal in the corner. He'll lay it back to Landeros. It's into Josh Pauls. Pauls might be sizing up an option. Declan Farmer, and they'll just get hunted down. Here it goes. And you think for a second that almost this is an encouraging moment, but look how quickly the Americans are back, and Josh Pauls just goes and takes it right off the stick. Look at this. This is pretty sexy stuff from the Americans to take the transition game right back in his power play. Declan Farmer goes wide on the short side, though.
Good movement by the Americans right there to get the puck back in the zone, and again, you just see the amazing speed from basically all 3 or 4 of the Americans, and a goal by Josh Pauls.
It's right out front. The service is perfect. The finish is even better, and the American flags are waving once again as there's a trio of goals now on the board for the USA.
We see good puck work right here from Brody Roybal right at the goal line, and perfect pass out to Josh Pauls, who was coming down the slot.
It is a great play, and Roybal on the backhand, just to be so punctuated and strong to get that service to Josh Pauls. And Pauls really, well, he would have had to really mess it up not to get that one in there.
A very confident group of young players right there. I think that's 40 points on the season. This is their 10th game of the season, so that line averaging 4 points a game.
Out front, if they got another one, they do, and it's a slam dunk as they'll take it comfortably on the feed to the back post. And in it goes, and it goes in with real confidence this time. As this time, I think it's Adam Page for sure. We still think there's going to be clarity on that second goal that's going to be awarded to Page, but he gets that one, and it's definite.
No question about this. Captain Josh Sweeney brings the puck down the right side, just feeds it to Page coming down the middle there of the slot. Right under the German goaltender there. Great feed from Josh Sweeney.
And he goes right under his sled and then under Kunst as well, as he gets a little backed up to that near post. And Page, without doubt, getting credit for that one. The assist on the play going to Josh Sweeney. Let's go back to the third goal, as there is a change now in net for the Germans. And it is now, as we're looking in, a new keeper, and Brzaska will go in. Klaus Brzaska now in goal for Germany, giving a little bit of a break to Simon Kunst with that third goal. Josh Pauls also from Brody Roybal. And the final one, the 420 years, giving credit to Adam Page now behind the net. It almost seems like everybody's forgotten about the Americans coming out, as there's been a lot happening here. 2 back-to-back goals, a goaltending change, and then obviously a very excited crowd here at home in Buffalo supporting this American side.
A lot of action here at the end of the first period. All USA just doing what they do. That top line is unmatched by any line in the world. It's tough to keep up with the speed and the puck movement, the accuracy passing, and the shooting ability of essentially every player on Team USA.
They have been coming in waves, and maybe a little bit of a couple lulls where the Germans responded after 2 goals that they conceded, and they pushed back against the Americans. But since third and fourth one have just come in quick succession, and again, it looks as though the Americans are looking to put a 5 spot on the board before the end of this first 15 minutes. Josh Pauls will try to corral it in front. It's not able to be taken at first touch, and they'll come back. Oh, look at that play. Almost like highlight, where you put it on the stick and scoop it and then just dump it back. That's legal, and the Americans are onto it again.
It is legal. I couldn't tell if the puck was on edge or if he scooped it up and threw it on purpose. Either way, good play to get the puck back in the German end, and the Americans back on the forecheck here.
I used to play trackball with scoops like that when I was a youngster. I won't want to show my age, but that looked a little bit like that same type of sport as the Germans will work around and try to get it out. Vede is the one who gets it, but he's kind of facing the wrong direction, and the Americans are smelling a loose puck opportunity. They'll look for it now. It's in and to the goal line. Josh Pauls is waiting to see who is going to arrive on the scene in that slot area, the danger place where the Americans have done the damage. They've overlapped here. Out front, trying to get the service. Oh, and a wrap there. It's a great looking play. That was Misevic, who was just trying to actually go back against the grain and slam one in on the short side. It was a good save just coming into the game. Brzozka for the Germans, as we've seen already. Simon Coops chased from this hockey game. And good work, though, by the Germans. They'll break it up, a shot in. Cash comfortably just sees it, and he'll just pump that out to McKee, who's back as the first man to help him. And the Americans will wrap it around the board. A shot in. Josh Pauls, don't give him that puck more than he needs it, as he can do all sorts of things. Make passes, skate it comfortably, and go right through the entire German side if he has enough momentum in his sails. The Germans, though, last seconds of this first period, continue just to try and disrupt this American breakout.
Good pressure here from the Germans. There's not going to be any give up in their game. They've worked too hard for too long to get back in this A-Pool tournament, and they're going to give it everything they've got here at the end of this period and definitely in the second and third.
It'll just get into the German end zone. Seconds inside of 10 remaining in this first period of play. And what a flurry it has been, as activity everywhere in this first period. And my goodness, it was a little bit calm there. Declan Farmer with that first one, if you remember back, the unassisted goal from center ice, and then it was just rapid fire there. I think Page is going to end up with 2 goals here once we clarify the scoring. Josh Pauls, though, the goal, though, coming across the feed from Brody Roybal. Some special goals, some well-taken goals, and the Americans really showing the quality.
They're showing the chemistry that they've built up as a team and as lines throughout the season here, and you can't argue with that. They definitely have something going here. 4-0 over Germany at the end of one.
That's the way it is. 4-0, the Americans in charge.
And now it's time to go back down.
Certainly, Declan, you got this game out to quite a start for a long-range goal. What's the plan on the play? Yeah, the points are following you around right now. Everybody knows that you've added an immense level of skill to this lineup. Take us through just how you got this opportunity in USA Hockey and how you've taken advantage of it as one of the top scorers.
Well, it is play club tournaments right now.
Home base is Tampa Bay, right? Steven Stamkos, big fan, right? And what were your expectations for them tonight? They're up to nothing right now.
Yeah,
Very good. Keep on going, Declan. Thanks for the time.
thank you.
Tickets are still available for most of the games remaining in the tournament. Tickets can be purchased on level 7 website. The first time visit box office or online Team USA's next game is Wednesday at 2 against Tunisia. It takes more than an hour to create a team. It takes 7 to do it. Championship teams win because they play as one, and nothing spoils a championship match faster than bowling. When bowling happens on a team, there's more than just a victim. The whole team suffers. So take a step in bowling. Don't do it. Don't ignore it. And don't blow.
Welcome to the 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships, the third time that these World Championships have been on American soil. They first arrived in 2000 in Salt Lake City. Ahead 2 years later, the Olympics and Paralympics in that city. And then 8 years later, Marlborough, Massachusetts is host to these World Championships again. And this time in 2015, it is Buffalo. As we look at the scoreline, the Americans 4-0 up over the Germans in this one, dominating with shots on goal and chances as well, Taylor.
Yeah, 14 shots for the Americans to the Germans 3. 6 scoring chances, 1 for Germany. And the face-off's pretty even, 9-7 in favor of the USA, but the big one there is 2 for 2 on the power play for the US and 0 for 1 for Germany.
We'll look back on that first period, and this play was a little bit of something special from the youngster. The Americans, as you don't see that often, as he just launches a missile from the middle of the ice.
We have a little Buffalo to Buffalo pass there, and the hometown players going to work here, and Adam Page credited with the goal. Kuntz made the initial shot or stop, and then it just fell over behind him and trickled in.
And Schau's getting the assist. You're right, the 2 Buffalo players, and then Roybal right out to Josh Pauls, and it's pretty easy pickings for the Americans.
And then one more pass across the crease, and Adam Page there for his second goal of the game to just sneak it in the far side.
And Kuntz then comes out of the German goal in favor of their keeper now, Klaus Brzoska. And Brzoska coming in, and he was okay to keep the sheet clean for the remaining of that first period. Then a shot coming in, the best one. Steve Cash is equal to it though. The Americans though so quick to recover, and that really is a snapshot of what went on. And the Germans we knew would be in tough in this one here, but Declan Farmer starts it off short-handed at 8:13. That's the second of the tournament. And then those 2 power play goals, one from Page and then from Pauls. They were strong efforts on the power play, and it's those third and fourth ones though that just came in such quick succession when Page gets his second of the game, second of this tournament, and he just bangs it in. The great feed from the captain, Sweeney, coming across in goal.
The Germans were doing a good job after the second goal of responding a little bit. They had some pressure on the Americans in the zone. That's when they got their best scoring opportunity. But then, like you said, that third and fourth goal, 11 seconds apart, kind of was a dagger to the German offense in that first period.
Klaus Brzoska is still in goal for the Germans. They are in black with the orange and yellow trim, and there you see the scoreline right now, and it looks as though the Americans want to continue to move forward. We've seen a 17-0 scoreline already. Whether or not that's on the cards here, well, I don't know if I'd hazard a guess on that one, but the Americans are looking good.
I think Jeff Sauer is going to want his team to focus on the small things this period, minimize the turnovers, and really just get back to their style of play, more puck possession, forechecking, that sort of thing, as opposed to just focusing on scoring goals.
Good work by the Americans to collapse, and immediately already the arm up of the referee, and he looks to be calling that team call, the most common penalty in ice sledge hockey.
Yeah, Frank Rinhack, the captain of the German team, just took an ill-advised penalty right there. Tyler Karen, the defenseman for the U.S. on the boards, just let the puck go by, and Rinhack didn't even look at the puck, didn't even play the puck. It came in with a sled, just another teeing penalty. We see it here. The puck by that time is already gone up by the blue line, and just a little disregard and out of control with the sled there a little bit. 2
for 2 on the power play. They'll take possession immediately on the face-off. A shot there, actually acting a little bit as a defensive screen there. Misevic actually gets hit with the shot coming in from the American blue line. They'll regroup in this neutral zone. And across the line, Karen with control, looking for an option in the slot, and that was Misevic again, who he tries to link up with, but he can't control it. And this is their tournament proficiency, 5 for 8, the Americans. A shot there goes wide. And we've seen a lot of that today in game day 2 as we focus on the shooting and the accuracy, getting it on net. As it goes right on goal, it is going to be continued and played. A different thing than scoring percentage, obviously getting those shots on goal when you've had the opportunity.
Yeah, maybe an ill-advised shot there by McCoy at that sharp angle, because it did provide an easy out for the Germans.
Misevic trying to just take it to the hole and put it in the goal, but lying down and taking it away. Brzoska prevents a 5th goal on the board for the Americans.
He's been good so far after coming in for Kuntz. He's had to face a couple of good shots, a couple on the power play here already, and nothing past him yet.
He's certainly got a lot of rubber marks on that pad, and I don't think that's all from shots, folks. I think that's something he likes to have, just to maybe control a little bit of that puck coming in on him. Kind of a little bit like rosin you put on a baseball bat, but it is won by the Americans. Out high in the slot area, Josh Paul steps in, the feed down low. Schaus! Oh, Schaus snaps it hard, low and off the right post and in. And the Buffalo boys are rolling in Buffalo.
The combo, Page to Schaus again. Page returns the favor to Schaus for that assist earlier on his second goal. And the Americans are rolling. You see here, Mumper passes it over to Josh Pauls, who just slides it over to Adam Page. And Adam Page finds Paul Schaus with a quick release, beating the goalie glove side.
This is Josh Pauls, and a little shuffle over to Buffalo as Page over to Schaus, and then snap it off the right post and in. And the dynamic tandem on the board, both of them not only with assists, but goals scored in this one. And the goal will go to Schaus, the assist to Page, and also to Josh Pauls. And the Americans on the power play tonight, 3 for 3.
We will address the line combinations here. Page normally doesn't play with Paul Schaus. It's usually Paul Schaus, Luke McDermott, and Josh Sweeney, but Coach Sauer is shuffling the lines a bit here today. And we actually missed a goalie change for the Americans. Steve Cash is on the bench, and we've got Kyle Huckabee taking control of the net for the Americans.
We're so focused on the power play opportunity and all of the activity in the German zone. And duly noted that Huckabee now in goal. Cash to have a little bit of a breather as the Canadians, or my apologies, the Americans in good form here against the Germans. As they'll go back, some great work. It is Samuel Mumper in the lineup tonight, first one to touch it, as he provides a little bit of screen. And look at Josh Pauls, he's just darting around in his own zone back there, and he's like the road runner, just always moving and outrunning his, the man trying to mark him, and there's nobody that can't mark him.
No, he's definitely one of the top 3 fastest players in the world. Quick fact on Kyle Huckabee, he's from my home state of Texas. Yeah. There he is, Kyle Huckabee, his first season on the United States Ice Sledge hockey team, getting a little action here at his first World Championships.
The Lone Star State.
Doing Texas proud.
He certainly is, and Huckabee has got the helm for the Americans in between the pipes now. And an opportunity at his first World Championships on American soil, and he's in a pretty good position. Watching his team play in front, he's got a very sound defense in front of him as well, as they'll collect his puck and they'll regroup, go right back at him. Karen is getting dragged from behind, and a little bit of towing the man, as that was Lowenstein again, just going for a ride.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes that's just all you can do when the guy you're trying to defend is just that much faster than you. You just hook on for an extra second. He doesn't feel like as though it's a hook, but let's take a look here, and yeah, you can see he's just grabbing onto that right hand of Tyler Caron. Easy call for the referee to make.
He just hooks his wagon right on the back of Caron, and that is another power play. 3 for 3. Are they going to go 4 for 4? I wouldn't bet against it, as this is now the Americans. Douglas to get on the play first. A little bit of power play time for Chris Douglas on this one. He'll get up front, trying to support it. There you see the stat. It's a very lethal one indeed. You don't want to play with fire, and fire right now is this American team on offense. They're doing a good job, though, the Germans, just keeping it plugged up in that corner. Misovic will come out with it, feeds it back to the blue line. Guerin will have a little look, a shot, and that is taken and controlled and quickly, and almost really kind of panicking to get that puck back. Krasaska not wanting to allow a second crack at it for those Americans to come in for any loose pucks.
The way the Americans have been crashing the net tonight, and really going after those rebounds. Brzuska did a good job there of controlling the rebound and covering it as quick as he could. Great save.
Americans to the left as the German goalkeeper looks out, and they try to get it. It's a battle in the skates right now. Renhack, that's a great clearance by Renhack, right in on goal, and not as easy as it looks. That long distance bomber from Renhack clearing the puck down the ice.
We've seen a couple of those go in the first couple of days of the 2015 World Championships here, and a good job by Kyle Huckabee to be on his toes there.
Good work now. Again, the Americans coming across the line. As you mentioned about Huckabee, it's not easy coming in, as he's been sitting and watching so far, and then he has to make those long saves, and you're expected to make them because everyone thinks they're easy, but you could do a little thinking and a little too much thinking en route and cause your own problems for yourself. But the Dallas Star, Kyle Huckabee of the Dallas Stars program, and a big collision there. Might be a penalty though coming up for the Americans, and it is, as the German player is still on the ice and looks to be injured on the play.
Looks like Tyler Caron got his elbow up a little high for the referee's liking there. Hopefully the German defender is okay here. Let's take a look and see what happens.
Coming straight up, and it hits the, you see the follow through.
I think it's the follow through is what they're going to get him for. If he would have just left and checked, you know, the initial check was clean, but yeah, just pushing that arm, following through there, the referee didn't like that.
A little bit of excitement since the t-shirt toss going on. Not at all anything to do, obviously, with the fallen German player. And we'll have 4-on-4 action right now. There's 35 seconds still to the penalty to Lowenstein. And once that is completed, then obviously the power play for the Germans, and it is going to be an elbowing call against Caron. And he is in that box for 2 minutes or less, as the Germans will use this opportunity to regroup and maybe an opportunity as well to get on the board. And that's trying to maximize this chance with a little bit more room out there for a side for each team in this sequence.
We see Danny McCoy here getting a little double duty. He just came off the ice on the power play with Mesowitz, and now we see him out here on the 4-on-4. So Dan McCoy getting his opportunity to make an impact here on the game.
And again, it's a little bit of the strategy and the tactical difference between maybe the Canadians and the Americans. As Stupe will shoot it there. Good job by Huckabee. Gets a touch. He has to keep that to the right to keep that away from going in the American goal. As now Veta is trying to turn around. He's getting pushed. Some good work. McKee out there. Josh Pauls, but Pauls could really kind of cover the ice of 2 men, if we're being honest, as he's got the defensive duty. He's right on the puck carrier. There's a couple of them, and just a couple players waiting for it to come out as well. They're just trying to maintain their momentum, aren't they, rather than coming to an entire stop.
Exactly. The Germans doing a good job right now of pinning the Americans in right here, but yeah, if you can minimize those starts and stops, you can conserve energy and, you know, get going much quicker as well.
Here he comes, Josh Pauls, and is the Germans unable to do anything as they're working now. They have the power play, and 5 against 4. They'll just chase this puck around at the moment, and it comes through and into the neutral zone. They are now with 50 seconds just over. Stupe trying to make something of his man advantage. It's a long distance effort that goes into the corner. It's kind of a dump in, but they've got to get there first. They'll keep it in now. Herring with an intention maybe to shoot it, but he's lost possession of it, and off come the Americans again. Remember, they're shorthanded right now. Landeros with control, feeding it to the wide side. Landeros will retreat to his defensive position, and he'll just allow McCoy just to hold it up. And now the Germans have touched it, and they have drawn another penalty, the Americans. And with 24 seconds left to the penalty against the Americans, they will then go on the power play. When that elapses, and is off again. There's the captain.
Rinhack again. Rinhack again, just coming in straight on. That is the exact definition of a T-bone, a teeing penalty. And he's been playing this game for a long time, so I'm really surprised. That's the second teeing penalty he's taken, and just didn't show any effort to turn his sled and use his body there, just straight into the American forward.
An emotional player is Rinhack, isn't he? And we saw that. And you know, it's a great thing, obviously, to lead with some passion, but you need to follow it up with some good smarts as well and try to help your team. There's shot. Oh, snap it off from the blue line, and Samuel Mumper will get himself on the board in these World Championships. And oh, baby, that was a rocket from the blue liner there.
The rookie Sam Mumper with his first ever career World Championship goal. Josh Paul's asking for the puck back for his trophy case for Sam Mumper there. And you see it, just a great win on the faceoff. Mesowitz drawing it back to Mumper here. Perfect shot from right above the circle, going far side on the German goaltender. Perfectly placed.
It was a beauty as he goes off the post and in, and the youngster looking on, enjoying his moment. First goal in this tournament, as you see. And it's a tremendous strike there from the blue liner. And oof, that shot is placed and ideally located, and it's given a 6th goal now. And remember, that was still 4 players aside. His first goal ever for this U.S. men's ice sledge hockey team. As we're listening, Renhack is still in the penalty box. That was 4-on-4. So now, here is the extra attacker, 5 against 4 on the power play, the Americans. And as a result of the inaccurate pass, it'll be an icing against them, but a lot of activity, and that goal almost kind of catching everybody out, and that's what happens off those face-offs. I mean, how many times have we seen direct goals on those face-off wins?
Most of the teams in the tournament have a set play they like to run off the face-off there. And like I mentioned earlier, it's hard for the defensive players to get out to that point in time to block the shot. So if you win it clean like that and the defenseman has a clear look, oftentimes you see those pucks end up in the back of the net.
This is the power play, as it is good work. Kyle Huckabee just trying to lock down this defense for the Americans. He's had to touch the puck a few times, more than actually Steve Cash probably has had to here tonight already in just the second period's work. Good job now. Josh Pauls. It's taken away by Brzaska.
Sassy save with the glove hand.
And Pauls was trying to climb the ladder there. He had done it, and he had made sure it was elevated. But I don't know whether or not it was just a little bit easier for Brzaska to see exactly where he's intending to go. And he kind of went right in the middle of the net, but that is a sensational save.
This is a great save, and something cool. Even the U.S. fans in the crowd here appreciated that one.
Well, that's a great save for Brzaska, who has come in to replace Kuntz, who had conceded those 4 goals in the first period, and things kind of changed. Now a couple more in the second as well. Here they come one more time on this power play. Oh, a redirection. Mumper again, the 20-year-old, looking to maybe get a second one, and doing his hometown of Dublin, Ohio proud. And they'll be back and recovering this puck. Slowed up just temporarily again, but Paul's almost creating a one-man breakout.
Josh Paul's just showing how fast and how strong he really is. He basically makes up a whole zone through the neutral zone to catch up to the German forechecker, got control of the puck, absorbed the hit, and was still able to come out of the zone with the puck.
Look at this now. Oh, the offload. And that's Declan Farmer. I thought he was going to release one right from the hip and just sling one into the German goal. We've already seen him do it from the middle of the ice, and I thought he was close enough there to really rip it one. But Stumpe now for the Germans will just collect it and upend it in the neutral zone. It goes up into the bench. And players losing a little bit of equipment, and the fans responding.
We've got another penalty here on Kevin McKee. Instead of using his shoulder, just sticks his hand out. It's not a legal hit in sledge hockey.
And McKee with the drive-by elbow catches his man Stumpe right in the chops, and it knocks his stick right out of his hands, and it goes flying. And that was the noise that we heard, and then politely enough goes and fetches his stick for him. Kevin McKee is in the box for elbowing, and the Germans with this man advantage opportunity.
Not a good penalty to take for McKee in the neutral zone there.
On the blue line, trying to get a little bit on it to elevate it towards the goal. Up Scores, who tries to give it a position really for the Germans to try and win it back. The Americans are good for it, and Rody Roybal will take this extra bit of room. And it is almost a license as he gets tagged and tripped up en route. It's a license really to be a little bit more dangerous, isn't it? And actually that serves right into the American hands, who have some real cutthroat speed and skill on this team.
We're able to take a little more chance with some home run passes, you might call it. And you can see here Brody just beating the defender, and he has no choice but Scores there to pull on that left hand and pull Brody Roybal off of his blades.
And that was most definitely a penalty there. Score is taking his hand off of the stick. No intention to play the man, and he will sit down for 2 minutes or less as both teams with penalties at the moment. So we're 4-on-4 as it's kept in. As you see the clock counting down, the Americans with control. Nifty move by Misevic and trying to get it across. This is Landeros. Haven't seen him for a while because it's been the Josh Paul show for the defense of the Americans. Wide side, it'll come. And some good use of Douglas out here. Douglas, though, can't get it on net. And Landeros will just track this one down. And they'll continue just to possess this puck. Karen out there. He'll just step on this play off of the near boards. Karen and a touch in front. He's trying to get it to Misevic. And quickly again, Brzozowska will just settle it down, and he's happy to take a face-off in his own zone. And that is some good work, though, from Brzozowska so far. He's only conceded 2. The Americans, though, in the driver's seat. 6-0 up.
Take over for your exclusive IPC token merchandise.
And the Germans having a discussion, just wanting to have the building blocks in place throughout the remainder of this game to get the most from this competition, because effectively they are in a battle here to stay in Pool A. And remember, the bottom 2 teams of these 8 will be automatically relegated to Pool B. The top 2 teams of Pool B will come up into Pool A. And it's taken them 7 years to get here. They have a game plan, and it's to prepare themselves for the remainder of this tournament. They weren't expecting to beat the Americans, but they certainly want to have it be respectable.
That's exactly right. And they've worked really hard over the past 4 or 5 years to get back in this position, and it's not a position they're going to give up lightly. Tyler Karen there with a shot from the point, maybe just dumping it in, trying to set the power play. Oh, we're still 4-on-4.
Good work. There's some space. Page almost on to getting himself a hat trick, and some very well spread out scoring across this American lineup as they're looking to put it in now. This is Landeros trying to get a touch on it. And 11 players at the moment with scoring in this tournament at the World Championships, and they're only still in their 2nd match. And that's an important part in the philosophy of this U.S. program under the tutelage and direction of Jeff Sauer.
One of the biggest things is the depth of Team USA, and as you just mentioned, 11 different players scoring for the Team USA in the first game and a half here, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Their speed, their youth, and their depth.
Good shot there by Karen, and it was punched back out again by Brzozowska. And this is the outside, the layup by Landeros. McCoy herring in there. Now the Americans have a brief power play opportunity. McKee back out, and they'll play it in. They need to get to it first, though, to keep that advantage. They're coming in with some speed, quickly catching his man. Have they done enough? Nice little twist and turn, avoiding the pressure, laying it off. A shot for Roybal. Oh, that's as good a save as we've seen, as Klaus Brzozowska throws everything across and just gets enough of that puck. The Americans are threatening right now, though. Again, Roybal, can he do it twice? No, he won't do it twice, because Roybal will bury it past him on the left side, and you don't need to give him 3 looks. 2 will be enough for Cody Roybal.
You can only give the #1 goal scorer for Team USA so many chances before he's going to put it in. And that actually extends Roybal's 10-game point streak to now 11 games. He scored in every game for the U.S. this season. Just a great job of taking the puck to the middle and finding the open spot in the net. Shoots across his body over the blocker side of the German goaltender.
Roybal sort of circling around in that offensive zone, waiting for his chance. He had one, he was denied, he got a second crack at it, it's in. And Roybal will get credit for the goal, and assist to McKee, and also to Adam Page, who's having one heck of a game, the hometown boy as well, as he sits on 2 goals and a multiple point effort and possibly looking to see if he can't get himself a hat trick.
If you ask Roybal what kind of shot that was, he'd say that shot is cheddar biscuits. I'll let you reach out to him on Twitter at BrodyUSA4 for an explanation.
It certainly was cheddar, the high cheese, and he can sit down and eat some biscuits after that one because he was pretty comfortable indeed taking that one and clocking it up past the German on that right corner over the German shoulder. Farmer, though, right now will come back and recover in the neutral zone, and he'll just twist and weave and wind his way. He'll unload it across, and right now it's looking a little too easy for the Americans. They're cutting through. They still have purpose. It's Roybal who was trying to get the last touch on it, and difficult to really use the stick as he's in tight there. He's going to just lay it on Declan Farmer. Roybal's an option in front. He'll come back, and he'll continue to loop, wait, patiently building it up. And these guys are just deciding actually when they want to shoot it, as they are really just drawing out the defense. Renhack runs out of steam. Roybal will come out. Look at the service there. Good job, though, by the goaltender, Brzozka, just to prevent it. And there is now another penalty, and we've seen as many penalties in this game as anything we have seen so far.
We might have more penalties than goals at this point, and looks like Declan Farmer got caught for coming through the crease and giving the goaltender a little tap on the sled. Let's take a look here. Yeah, you see him just come barely into the crease there, and that's the third time the referee's called that tonight, so the player should be picking up on the fact that he's not going to let him go through the crease and touch the goaltender.
Well, there isn't a whole lot the goalie can do when you just drive right into him and just march him out of the net area, and the Americans getting penalized for that. It hasn't been aggressive, both teams, and not necessarily you think in sort of a nasty way. They just have been playing with purpose. Here's a dangerous shot in front. Huckabee has to be equal to it, and they're still keeping a clean sheet as they're working hard in this one. They weren't able to against the Russians, the Americans. They did concede a goal, but in this one they would love to be able to keep it a clean sheet tonight.
Good opportunity here for Kyle Huckabee to play the majority of this game, and so far so good. He's had to face a couple of good quality scoring chances, and he's done well.
America can win it back in the corner. Now it's inside of 3 minutes remaining in the second period. It'll go down the length of the ice, and it won't be called for icing. It was touched on. There's Paps. Paps doing a little bit of the shutter turn to get himself turned up ice. And as you referred to before, it's those sharp skate blades sometimes, but also the quick pivoting turn. And a lot of times, actually, the players have their skate underneath their sleds, positioned in different areas depending on where they prefer their center of gravity to be or how they want to lean.
Exactly right. Some players like to be a little more sturdy with the blades moved back some. Other players like to be a little bit more tippy, so they move them forward. They think that helps them turn a little bit easier. But yeah, it's definitely a personal preference. Sorry, go ahead.
No, face off just outside the zone, but it's an interesting point because it's something that people don't necessarily understand, and obviously the great insight of having Taylor Lipson here with all his experience at the world-class level, just to talk about some of those subtleties there, but go on again about the sleds and why players can choose those.
Yeah, when you get to this level of competition, these machines essentially are highly customized to the player, not just the blades, but the length of the sled, the buckets for every U.S. player is custom made, custom molded to their bodies, so highly fine-tuned. And I would like to say that that's one of the reasons why the U.S. excels against other countries in the world, just because of the attention to detail from top to bottom of the program.
Technology an advantage. They often say that a little bit about golf nowadays, and I'm sure across all sports, technology can be an advantage, and they are using every advantage they can get, and they use it, well, with full maximum potential, and they take advantage, and they had done that tonight, and you see that with the skating. I mean, it certainly helps to excel and just really allows them to play a game that is very difficult to break down. Good work, though, from the Germans to get this puck off of this offensive zone face-off. Can they battle and get a shot in on goal and ask another question of Kyle Huckabee? They'll do their best. Stupe is denied as it works its way now through the neutral zone. The Americans trying to link up again. The intended recipient on that play was Douglas. He'll go and make a line change, and they'll force the black and gold and orange back, and they have to come a long ways to get up, and it's a little bit of a careless pass. Here comes Sweeney. Americans. He'll just see it back and around, and in a good position, playing a little bit of a territory game now as Schaus is out there, another Buffalo native. And he'll look to see what he can set up here. Oh, he's got more room. He could have cut right towards the goal. And they're looking for possession here. And it almost looks as though they're under instruction right now from Jeff Sauer, not to shoot, but to rather control, as they were killing a penalty. And now back onto the ice. They're back to 5-on-5.
Coach Sauer definitely wanting his players to focus on some of the other aspects of their game. He asked them to capitalize on their scoring chances at the beginning of the tournament. They've done that here tonight. So now he's wanted them to work on puck possession, good passing, minimizing the turnovers, and so far so good.
Good work to turn it over. It's lofted into a good area for Adam Page. He's on 2 goals, up to Schaus. This is the Buffalo combination right now. It'll go around. And this is Sweeney, who will link up on this side, looking to see what's available to him. He'll just give it a little bit of a side pass, and now into an area for only Mumper to get to first. Mumper on the board. A great goal, his first at this international level as a member of the U.S. Men's Ice Sledge Hockey program. An exciting moment for that youngster indeed, as they'll battle now, the Americans, and take these valuable seconds off the clock. Schaus doesn't want to turn it over, doesn't want to start a German breakout, and it's going to just count down the remainder of this first 30 minutes of action in day 2, match number 4, and 3 more goals to put on the board in that second period for the Americans, and they are sitting pretty. That man has been busy, but he's also been great.
He's made some miraculous saves, one-on-one opportunities from some of the top American shooters, so definitely can't complain about the play of Brazuca here in the second period. And equally good in the other side, Kyle Huckabee, who came in for Steve Cash from Houston, Texas. I know some of his teammates of the Star Skaters program down there are definitely watching the feed tonight.
A great performance so far. The Americans are in stern control, 7-0 up after 2 periods of play. You're watching the 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships from Buffalo.
Good luck. Thank you. Thank you.
If you're not already, be sure to follow USA Hockey on Facebook and Twitter to get the inside scoop on everything hockey. As the United States strives to be the best international, the USA Hockey Foundation is committed to helping the United States reach the top through increased participation opportunities, world-class training programs, and benefits. To learn more about donations to hockey in the United States, visit USAHockeyFoundation.com.
And we are looking inside the Harbor Center at these 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships. And there you see a very impressive 7-0 scoreline. The hosts are looking strong after 2 periods of play.
7-0 the U.S. over Germany right now at the start of the 3rd period. 26-5 shots in favor of the U.S. 12-1 scoring chances. A lot of penalty minutes between the two teams. 8 minutes for the U.S., 12 for the Germans, and the impressive 50%, 3 for 6 on the power plays for the United States, and over 4 for the Germans.
There has been a few penalties. It hasn't necessarily been a nasty match, but they've just been a little awkward, some of these collisions. But this is some of the work that you've seen in this one so far. And that was the shot quickly taken there. And then this one from Samuel Mumper, his first at the international level. He just sent a dart in from the blue line there. And then Karan there. Some good work, though, as Brzozowski came in. And then this one all alone. Josh Pauls looks as though he's got him dead to rights. And Brzozowski surprises him with the big bear claw going up. And he snatches a puck right out of the air. Some great work here. Brody Roybal had a couple chances on that shift, and it's just too much, really, as they just break open the scoring, and they continue to increase their lead, and it's no more than what was expected of this American squad. They were favored coming into this tournament, potentially walk away with gold medals. They've got to hit all the steps along the route, though, don't they, Taylor? They've got to have the building blocks in place, and that means playing at the level they should be playing at, but also making sure that in gameplay they're doing the things they need to do to be successful, even against other opposition as they get themselves further in this tournament.
That's one thing that Coach Sauer is really going to be happy with tonight. His team is hitting on all cylinders, and they're excelling at each phase of the game. They've got a shorthanded goal, they've got power play goals, they've got even strength goals, and they haven't given anything up. So they're doing a great job in all areas of the ice, and not really much he can complain about.
They have been strong. Steve Cash started in goal, and then there's been a changing of the guard as you look at Kyle Huckabee. And as you say, he's from your home state, Texas. And you say there's quite a few players that come from Texas, actually, coming a little bit of a hockey hotbed down the south.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, Texas does have 5 or 6 Paralympic ice sledge hockey gold medalists that live just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then our counterparts down in San Antonio and Josh Sweeney, Jin Lee, and Rico Roman. Sweeney has since moved to Portland, Oregon, but will still claim his gold medal in Texas.
The Hockey South movement, as we are here in the north on the edge of Lake Erie, the snowbelt capital of America. A hockey hotbed, though, too, as we are ready to start this 3rd period. Misevic is in to battle for this puck. Douglas to support him as well. Good to see that these players getting a little bit more of an opportunity. Douglas in his first match in these World Championships, but it's in behind the German goal. And Stupe will just play it into an area in hopes that his teammates can work together to get it out. It's been turned up. McCoy getting onto it, and it'll go out into the neutral zone and kind of snuffed out quickly by the Americans. And it'll be interesting to see just how bearing down or throttled down the Americans will be offensively in this 3rd period, or as you say, they'll be going through the stages, but it's a difficult one, isn't it? They need to make sure they play at the level they're capable of playing at and continue to have positive hockey on the ice.
I don't think you're going to see them let up in terms of effort and intensity. You might see them let up as far as the number of shots they're taking, quick shots specifically. They're going to be focusing on puck movement, working the puck around in the zone, cycling down low, some of the more technical things that Coach Sauer has had them working on this season.
That is a big hit coming in. Tyler Caron, and he just takes his man right out of the play, and totally legal in ice sledge hockey, as it is a puck that's just arrived onto the stick of Caron there again. And there's another good collision in the neutral zone. The Americans just doing a good job of shadowing and kind of really following this puck. They'll get it on their stick now, and Misevic will just see what's available to him, and he'll look for a play. He'll put it into an area, and this is again going to be a battle for the Germans to keep it out. They do a quick bank. It's Redhack, the captain, taking a couple penalties tonight. See what he can do with this puck now. Bounces it out into the neutral zone. The Americans are trapped in, though. This is delayed offside. They won't call it. They'll allow the Americans to clear the zone, and back play will resume as the Germans looking to work their way forward. The Germans in their second match in these World Championships, they fell 1-0 to the Italians, so it's close. There's a penalty coming up. It will be against the Germans, and again, just some of this awkward play. Not necessarily nasty, but just a little bit careless and maybe a little bit sloppy at times.
Yeah, one of the toughest things to do, especially when defending against a double amputee, is you have to be careful about hitting them in the back because they are so shifty. So you'll see Nico Landros turn at the last second, and 43 for the Germans just doesn't have a lot of a choice but to hit him in the numbers, and unfortunately you cannot hit from behind in any level of hockey.
And you'd say probably that's fortunate. We certainly have seen a lot of change in the sport and trying to protect those players who are in a vulnerable position. 3 for 6 on the power play. The Americans tonight, and they are operating at a pretty high percentage indeed. Another stage for them to go through here, getting themselves a power play goal. They've already got 3. Can they get a 4th? They'll need to move it around, and they'll want to see all the players potentially get a touch of the puck. But as you say, make the play when it's available as opposed to being forced to do that. And they need to be careful not to be too cute. But another penalty as the Germans just causing some interference and not allowing the pursuit from the Americans to get to that loose puck.
Exactly right. They're not making it very hard on the referee here. The German defender, no effort to go towards the puck, just took a right turn to cut off the American player, and the puck wasn't even near him, and you just can't do that. Pabst is he's a veteran, he's an old timer, he's been playing since I started back in 2004, so he should know better, but another careless mistake by the Germans, and now they're going to go down 2 men.
We haven't seen a 5-on-3 yet in these World Championships, I don't believe. And this is as good an opportunity as the Americans will have to potentially put up an 8th spot on the board as they'll take immediate possession. They're working around as an interference call that will be going against Robert Pabst. They've circled the wagons once, and they're looking to see just what is their best option as they look again. They'll again play that possession game. Mumper, who had possession, is on the ice as well. Looking to see, is Caron going to take a shot? They'll offload it, and this is a slow, steady, and at the moment uneventful power play as they're just thinking about possession. And this is a good play across the backside. And you'd like to see them still be assertive though, wouldn't you? As this is Caron looking for a chance, and I guess it's got to be a perfect position in order to take that shot. One more time, Douglas.
I don't think Jeff Sauer has instructed his guys not to shoot the puck, just to take the best shots. So you see the guys working it around here, waiting for that perfect opportunity to arise, and they're doing a good job cycling the puck around, using the whole zone here on the 5-on-3. But the Germans also doing a good job staying at home, clogging up the middle of the ice there, and not really giving any interior space to the Americans.
They have done a nice job indeed to keep this American power play in check thus far in this particular sequence. As Misevic tries to get to it, they'll clear it down the ice. And an applause for the German side, who have been very resilient and able to do a job on this particular sequence. 3 Americans will come off the ice. 3 new fresh ones will come on for this power play. And the remaining seconds, just 20 left in this man advantage, which is now 5 against 4. And they'll just move it around in hopes to get to it first. The Germans, though, just making a good, sensible read. And Disfeld is just getting there. He's being hemmed in. He's certainly being hassled and harried by the Americans. And now back on the ice, and it is even strength as the official actually losing his footing. He was taken out by Pabst as he came on the ice. An awkward fall for the linesman. They'll keep possession, though, the Americans, 5 against 5. And looking to see just what is going to be the available shot to be taken. And they really look as though they may have been given instructions not to shoot right now. And we've talked about the perfect shot, but the perfect shot is invariably never really arrives, so does it? As the Americans are just kind of working around. And this is Karen right to Roybal. And if Roybal is going to shoot, you would think he would have earlier. He would have in this game. He'll take it in behind the goal. And now into an area for the Germans to collect it. And Herring just out into space. And all that is just really a temporary relief of the pressure as once again the Americans will make the line changes. 4 players, now a 5th, come off the ice. And the Germans see if they can't make something of this extra room.
Yeah, the Americans just focusing on a puck possession game right now, not worried about scoring any more goals. They've already put the stamp on the scorecard there. But you can always improve on your puck possession, your passing skill under pressure, and that sort of thing. So they're doing a good job of just working the puck, working the whole zone here, and these younger players, these rookies on the team, getting their fair share of playing time this evening.
Been very fair and generous with the ice time, has Coach Jeff Sauer, and he's got a great reputation not only leading this program, also the American Deaf program recently in Europe too, and also as well with, as you say, stand-up hockey, able-bodied hockey as well with the Wisconsin program, and he's got a real tremendous pedigree. And this is the particular tactic that they're employing right now, coming up to 8.5 minutes, is that they're going to be respectful, they're going to be controlled and measured in how they really quantify their output in the remainder of this game.
Yeah, something Coach Sauer said at the press conference before the tournament started, you know, speaking to all of the different teams that he's coached over his legendary career, who's actually just inducted into the USA Hockey Hall of Fame. He said this group that he has on the bench right now is they have the most chemistry of any team he's ever coached. And he's coached players like Chris Chelios, NHL Hall of Famers. And he said by no doubt in his mind that this group has the best chemistry and the most talent of any team he's ever been a part of.
And it's an interesting point, that isn't it? Because some of the reasons he said for that chemistry is actually the way that this American team is designed and formulated, in as much that they are actually get together one weekend a year. They're not all full-time. They have their lives away from hockey. And when they do get together, they really enjoy that opportunity, and they really don't take it for granted. They value that time when they do have an opportunity to compete and to live and to learn and to spend time getting to know each other.
Yeah, only 3 or 4 days a month they get to spend together. So a lot of the physical work and being in shape is done at home on their own or with their local programs. And then when they do get together, they focus on the technical aspects of the game, some of the systems that Sauer wants the team to implement, power play, penalty kill, that sort of thing. But yeah, that definitely keeps them hungry and passionate. And having a coach like Sauer behind the bench really gives them access to an unlimited amount of hockey knowledge.
Here's an opportunity. Are they going to build it up for a shot? You can see that from Coach Sauer when he came up here and acknowledged, gave you credit for making the transition in your career. 10 years with the program and 3 times with the Paralympics as well, 2 gold medals, twice a world championship, and you make that transition in your life as well. He was very much as interested in you as a person as he was you as a player, contributing to this U.S. men's ice sledge hockey program.
Yeah, that's definitely one of his goals as a coach, is to not just be a coach on the ice, but to teach these young guys how to be men. You know, with 15, 16, 17-year-olds on this team, that's one of the keys that he places a responsibility of himself, is to teach these players how to be men and how to contribute outside of the hockey rink, you know, once the playing career is over, such as mine, and now making this transition up to the booth with you.
Good work. The Americans have really just been playing a game of chess, very controlled and measured. They're just keeping it to the outside, and if they're going to take a shot here, they haven't done it yet. And I think it's almost, I don't think they're trying to be coy or cute. I just really think it's about the respect for the coach's instructions, and they're actually taking this as a challenge just to maintain the integrity of control and the best they can with keeping that control.
That's exactly right. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a staff member from USA Hockey keeping track of puck possession time here in the 3rd period, and the coach having set a benchmark for his guys to achieve. So very good point on them just not being cute, like you said, or trying to disrespect the Germans, but just trying to hit a benchmark of puck possession here in the 3rd and not trying to run the score up.
Misevic will play it around. McCoy, potentially the first American to get to it. The Germans are then trying to link onto it. It's a play, bounces in behind the American goal, and the first time we've had the puck down to the American end zone for certainly a while. Huckabee was having to strain his eyes as he was looking down at all of that passing play going on in the far end, but he won't have to touch this one, but certainly he's feeling at least the brush of air going by as his teammates going back. As a big hit. Herring will not be penalized. Josh Pauls gets crunched there, and the big body of Herring just taking maybe a little bit of frustration out as they are really feeling as though they can't even really get control of this puck to make a play right now, the Germans, but a good respectful performance from the Americans. as they'll come across with good control. And Chris Douglas will just play it in behind the net. And once again, they go through the stages.
Got your first forechecker in the zone there. Dan McCoy doing a good job of putting pressure on the German defender there. Like I said, they're not going to stop playing. They're not going to let up on their effort. They're just going to focus on other areas of the game, and they're doing a good job so far. 4 minutes left here in the third period.
McCoy receives the pass from Mumper, and Misevic will be the first one for the American team to get in and to employ that forecheck. And he just tries to just slow down the progress of the Germans out of their own zone. And it's really interesting to watch how these players who are so robust and capable of going out and being ferocious in the attack can really then measure this and have the really emotional control and the discipline to make sure they execute a tactic to really the game other than the scoreline. And it really is interesting to watch, particularly at this world-class level, just how measured the Americans have been throughout these stages of this third period.
And impressive for the young players. You know, a lot of times you'll have a young, passionate player who all he cares about is to put as many points on the board as he can. So for them to show some reservation here and, you know, follow their coach's lead, definitely a good sign for the USA.
It's a great, very interesting tactic, and let's be honest, maybe it's not the most exciting one, but what it does is it teaches young players the value of team play, teaches them that, in fact, the points that you record as an individual certainly do not measure the total output of the team and its performance and its ability to win and to be successful. And it really is just interesting to see it actually in action here right now as a real training exercise. The Americans are going to be having a penalty assessed against them as soon as they touch the puck. The Germans will just try to hold on for as long as they can. And another hit here. Roybal gets wrapped up with his man, and I think, as I say, not getting ugly, just a little bit of exuberance there as the official then makes the call. But go back to actually one of the players coming out of the penalty box and surprised the linesman who wasn't focusing on the player being released from the penalty box and actually ended up sort of taking his feet out. It can be awkward a little bit for these officials who are standing up, skating around, having to work themselves around and not always being aware of where some of these players are on the ice as they work the ice.
Especially with as fast as some of these players are, you might be able to look 1 second and think you're clear, and then the next second the guy's right behind you. So you definitely have to play heads up, even as an official.
The Germans coming up on a power play. Play set to resume. 2:28 remaining in this one. We are at Harbor Center in Buffalo, New York. The IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships and the USA in firm control in game day 2, their second match of this tournament in the preliminary round. The Germans on a power play, looking to close this one out, trying to see if they can put a dent in the scoreboard and get themselves on the board in this tournament. They are still yet to score, remember. The Italians, who they faced in the opener, beat them 1-0. And Brzozowska came in to take his teammate's place. Simon Kunst was removed from the game after 4 goals conceded in the opening period. And Brzozowska has settled things down for the Germans. Maybe a little bit of a different approach from the Americans equally as well. But he has really been good and strong in goal.
He has made some world-class saves against some world-class shooters since he's come in. Definitely can give him a bad grade for his performance tonight.
Keeping it in. This is a power play for Germany, but they're hemmed in their own end. The penalty kill from the Americans, just moving it around and again letting the puck do the work. It's Douglas who has it underneath them. Nice little tight move. Misevic, if he had enough room to shoot there, really interesting to see whether or not he would have, but he just took enough. He had it under control. The Germans have got to be getting a little bit tired equally as well. As this a long play up again to Douglas, who can just try and chase it down. And Misevic is right there as well. And the Germans coming across the line, dispelled with a feed. Schroeder is the man closest to it. Across, Huckabee just lets it carry him off of his stick, and down the ice it will go, and killing off precious seconds on the remainder of the game and the power play for Germany.
Back to something you said a little earlier about some of these U.S. players having the speed of 2 men. With Germany having the power play right now, the Americans playing a man down, you can tell just from the speed of the Americans that you can't really tell they're playing a man down just because of that speed.
And at the moment, just to record and to acknowledge, no shots from either team in this third period. And I'll be honest with you, the hockey player in me finds it very curious, but I find it fascinating to just watch how this period is played out. And for those that are watching ice sledge hockey for the first time, this is not the temperament or necessarily the tactic that is always going on. It's really a situational situation here, a circumstance that the Americans are employing and using this as a training exercise.
Yeah, I definitely can see both sides of the table here on the thought process. We saw the Canadians yesterday score 17 on Japan, and the Americans here stopping at 7 today. Like you said, just different tactics, different instructions from the coaching staff, but at the end of the day, the Americans came in to get a win, and that's what they're going to walk out with.
There is no mercy rule in ice sledge hockey, certainly not. We're at the World Championships. These teams are the best, and Huckabee doesn't quite get to that one. He allows it to continue inside of 30 seconds. 4-on-4, back out onto the ice. The Americans are in full employment, 5 against 4. Josh Pauls will put it in, and that will be recorded as a shot on goal. And I was thinking he's maybe going to shoot it himself all the way down on goal. A little bit of fun from number 15, Brzozowska. And the seconds will elapse in match 2 for both of these sides. The Americans have been in control. The American flags are waving high and proud and respectfully in honor of the home side's good victory and the sportsmanship and the way in which it was played by the Germans too. They did themselves proud, and it was a proud performance for both nations.
Good game for the Americans, and congrats to Kyle Huckabee. He came in for the second and third period and got his first shutout at the international stage here at his first World Championship game. But like you said, nothing for the Germans to be upset about. The U.S. is a very good team, the favorites in the tournament, and they did everything they could today.
A standout performance from the Americans, who quickly moved through the paces, and no goals from either side in that third period. As we look at the teams assemble onto the blue line, you look at the player of the game for Germany. Who are you thinking it will be awarded to today?
I have to go with the backup goaltender, Brzozowska. He came in and had a really, really impressive performance with some big saves, even without some help from his defenders on breakaways from the likes of Josh Pauls. So I got to give it to number 15, the backup goaltender.
Well, we'll await the announcement of the player of the game. There you see the Germans, and
The final
good
score
smiles,
today
and
is
proud
preliminary
smiles
match
as well.
between Team Germany
And to be
and
back
USA,
in
Team
play,
USA
remember, a
7,
huge
Germany
achievement for
nothing.
them. It has taken
Rest of the teams
them
now
7
please
long
line up
years
their
in which to
respective blue
return
lines
to it.
for our player of the game
And there
presentation.
is the acknowledgement, and it looks as though it's going to be Herring who gets the player of the game for Germany.
He had a great game as well. He did a lot of forechecking when the Germans were able to establish some pressure in the offensive zone. He was always a part of the equation there.
And Bernard Herring, player of the game for Germany, as he receives his trophy. And now for the Americans.
I'm gonna go. I would say Kyle Huckabee. He had a good game when he came in. Maybe Stan
And presenting
Bumper
our
with a
team
good
player
shot
of the
from
game
the point.
awards is USA Hockey Vice President and Treasurer
We'll see
Jim
what they
Smith.
say here.
The player of the game
we're
for Team
listening to the
USA,
announcement.
Joshua Paul.
And it goes to number 27, Joshua Pauls. And there really isn't anybody other than Landeros that I see in this tournament who can match his mobility, his speed, and his ability to recover whenever there is a little bit of daylight given to the opposition.
Seems like he's on the forecheck, on the back check. He scores goals. He sets goals up. So definitely no argument there. Another great game by Josh Pauls.
And a great photo of these two sides acknowledging each other, and these two players, Herring and Paul's outstanding performances. And you look at the American coaching staff, and that was Coach Jeff Sauer, who definitely gave the instructions as to how he wanted to see that third period being played. And now we will respect the playing of the American national anthem. And another proud moment for this American side on home soil at these World Championships, as both teams will now shake hands, and there is the final look at the stats of the game.
7-0 in favor of the USA, 26 shots to 5 for the Germans, 12-1 on the scoring chances, a few more penalties in that third period, ends up 10 penalty minutes for the US, 16 for the Germans, an impressive 3 for 8 on the power play for the US.
And they were a lot more penalties than we had seen as we look back across the game and some of those highlights. This was the opener from Declan Farmer, and he made it rain and brought pain on Kunst up and over from halfway on the ice. And then Adam Page eventually gets credit for this goal as it works off both of the German defenders who go across the line, and the hometown boy, and he's done well. It just gets there. And the work Declan Farmer, that's Brody Roybal, apologies, out to Josh Pauls. And then this was the work from Sweeney out there, and Page slam dunks it home. And Page with 5 points tonight in this contest. And the shots coming in continue. And that was a great one from the youngster to see Sam Mumford get his first goal at international level, and then Josh Paul's outstanding, but Roybal was a great player tonight too, and Roybal one to watch, and the whole team, the Americans, outstanding tonight. They are 2 for 2 in their first 2 matches. The Germans still looking for points in the standings. An outstanding second day. You've been watching the 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships. I'm Brent Pope. On behalf of Taylor Lipset, that's goodbye for now from the Harbor Center.
No, you notice it's the so I guess